My humble opinion, Time magazine is objectively terrible, okay? They are as far left. They are so far left that they wrap around twice, okay? This is coming to us from Time magazine. These Black Lives Matter protesters had no idea how one arrest could alter their lives. No, no. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the necessity of fathers. Why? The welfare state must be destroyed, and we can't keep pretending as if those coming up in that circumstance aren't aren't the greatest at risk. D'Angelo Sandidge sits in front of the U.S. District Courthouse in Indianapolis near the site of his arrest on June 2nd. If you're unfamiliar with my content or my channel, one of the things that is a bit of a rule here is that the feminine and the alphabetical aren't really to be given, that much credence, And you may be asking yourself, Jay, what makes you believe that this individual is a alphabetical? And you're 100% correct. Maybe or maybe not. There's a high likelihood that it's that he, if he identifies as such, is a product of a single mother. But I don't know, guys. I just don't know. It's something about, the whole of the posture that's screaming to, at least to my senses, that, this is, we're dealing with an alphabetical individual right here. This is written by Melissa Chan. D'Angelo Sandidge was lying in bed. Okay, so this is chick writers. This is definitely the female writer. She's trying to paint a picture for you and get you very emotionally invested in this. Okay. D'Angelo Sandidge was lying in bed and scrolling through Instagram on June 1st, thinking about the ground sausage he was about to fry for breakfast when he stumbled upon a video that he'd heard about but not yet seen. His anger intensified as he watched the footage of George Floyd begging for his life while a white Minneapolis police officer knelt on his neck. By the time the video ended, after he'd watched Floyd, who was black, call out for his mother, and eventually fall silent, Sandidge had lost his appetite. I felt sick to my stomach, he says. All right, so, but here we are. We have the benefit of the hindsight, right? Maybe you should have waited a few ticks there, brother. Until that moment, Sandidge, who is also black, which is just a government designation. There's no ethnicity. It's not a nationality. It's just, hey, yeah, everybody, you're the exact same thing. Black people are not a monolith. But had not been one to hit the streets and protest. But this was different. At 6'4" tall and 280 pounds, he is about the same height as Floyd and substantially heavier. And that video was a reminder of how quick people are to judge those who look like, oh wow, how quick people are to judge, huh? Like, guys, I did a video the day of, but I also said, hey, let's not wow out. And who was right in that instance? So the next day, Sandidge brought a poster board and some markers and made a sign wider and taller than his torso that read, "No justice, no peace, no calmness in the streets." Oh yeah, so you are basically calling for, you're looking to incite, right? You felt that spark. Oh, wow. I didn't even see the word sparked next. Sparked by a sense of urgency to take a stand as a black man in America and by a desire to find camaraderie among people who can relate to his pain. You weren't the one with the knee on your neck, and here we are. It's come out that, the toxicology came out. It wasn't the knee that did him in the entire encounter, which was initially blocked from being seen. Like, the prosecutor sealed it, was released to the public, and everybody started wait a second. Like, a lot of people began waking up, and that's why, the instances that are sparking off now, they're all sparking off when, ultimately the main reason a lot of people are sitting here screaming about race isn't the contributing factor. Actually, in many of these cases, plays no factor whatsoever. It's the individual's actions and what they decided to do with their time and their life that created the situation, as it is with Mr. Sandidge. The 24-year-old set out to join a Black Lives Matter protest in downtown Indianapolis. By the end of the night, he was in jail, accused of violating curfew and resisting arrest by fleeing. Police say that as he fled, Sandidge was trying to reach into his backpack, where they found a taser and a can of bear spray. Item Sandidge says he normally carries for self-protection. Really, my guy? You carry a can of bear spray, maybe the taser, but both, and you carry them for your protect. Oh, okay, sure. Wink. He was not charged with the curfew violation, but Sandidge faces up to a year in prison and a fine of up to $500 if convicted of resisting arrest. Worse for Sandidge, even though it's a misdemeanor, the charge will show up on background checks, even if he's acquitted or the case is dismissed. Yes, that's what tends to happen, right? That's when you want to tangle with the law. Yeah, they gonna sit there and slap you with shit. I've never dealt with anything like this, says Sandidge, who didn't have a smudge on his driving records, much less a criminal history when he was arrested. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, you're not even gonna be a felon. Come on. Hard pass on this time. Like, for real. Like, yo, bro, you're not even going to be a felon. This isn't even putting a F on your chest. Demonstrations against racism, which, have all been based on situations that have had absolutely nothing to do with race, and police violence led more than 7,600 arrests in the U.S. in May and June, according to Crowd Counting Consortium, which collects data from news reports. An Associated Press tally found more than 10,000 protesters were arrested in just the first 10 days after Floyd's death on May 25th, and in many of those cases, they were immediately released. Amid the ongoing protests, many of those jailed, however briefly, are coming to terms with the repercussions of their decisions to take part in a major moment in history. No, a major manipulation in history time. Seriously, how did you fall so far off the ball? Golly. Young protesters, particularly those of color, face chilling consequences on top of prosecution. Well, what about the protester that ran across Mr. Rittenhouse, huh? Oh yeah, that's a way worse consequence for quote-unquote protesting, including costly fines, loss of employment, and a stigma that legal experts say could affect their ability to obtain housing, jobs, education, and occupational licenses. Yeah. Once again, there is no concept, or there's been the promotion of the concept, and it's really feminine based, that there should be no consequences for one's actions. This is a slap on the wrist, particularly compared to some of the sentences and time that I've run across that in my intimate relationship with the outlaw lifestyle. Yet you got Time Magazine with this individual right here crying about, oh, I have a misdemeanor. Oh my goodness, mercy me. Oh, this is why the feminine gotta go. Ladies, this is why the feminine has to return back to its place. The tiger's been out of the cage for a little too long now. And what experts call the largest sustained mobilization in modern history. Okay, sure. I'm not an expert. But what experts? Like, who's the expert in this shit? Some 23 million people across the U.S. have attended demonstrations since Floyd's death, a Civis poll from mid-June suggests. According to a National Pew Research survey of more than 600 people who say they attended a recent protest focused on race, because, that's the thing, everything that's been focused on the whole race thing, the inciting incident has yet to be about race. It has to be about the person's actions. About 41% were younger than 30. Of those 600, 17% were black, 22% were Hispanic, and 46% were white. That's right, taking the opportunity because, oh my goodness, I believe that there's a very deep combination of white guilt as well as opportunist within that 46% there, champ. A smaller survey looking at protest demographics in Washington, D.C., New York City, and Los Angeles found that the median age of protesters was 29. According to Dana Fisher, a University of Maryland sociology professor whose team conducted surveys in the three cities in June, about 25% of those polled were 24 or younger, Fisher says, and white protesters made up about 54% of the crowds. Yeah, once again, the opportunist. But when it came to her, and guess what? They're far more racist. Like, they're more racist than the people that they're protesting. They just see an opportunity to ride it on out. It's hilarious. But when it came to arrests, the faces were less diverse. While there is no racial breakdown of protest arrests nationwide, some analysts some analysis of city and county arrest records the first weekend after Floyd's death show that many who were jailed were black. Of the 2,172 people the Chicago Police Department arrested from May 29th to May 31st, more than 70% were black and 10% were white, according to an analysis of police departments records by the, once again, Chicago Reader. It's Chicago. In Atlanta, 48% of the 82% of the 82 48 of the 82 people processed through the Fulton County Jail that same weekend were black, Georgia Public Broadcasting found. Man, me and my talking. When Sandidge was sitting on the sidewalk in handcuffs, he says white bystanders walked past him without being stopped by police, even though they were also out after 9 p.m. Well, why are you sitting there looking? See, that's a whole grass is greener situation. No. Worry about you, my guy, because you the one that decided to take your ass out there. uh, At one point in the night, he says all 25 inmates in his jail cell were black. He often wonders why authorities stopped him in the first place. Each time he comes to the same conclusion. 100% it was because I was black, he says. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police declined to comment. And probably, but once again, like, you're out there protesting the fact that, yeah, you're more than likely to have an interaction with the cop. So how do you not anticipate having an interaction with the cop? I'm sorry, that's just not how life works, guys. There's so many people that like to sit here and be like, oh, well, that's so unfair. Life's not fair. If you want fair, go to a carnival, all right? Because that's a fair. Here, I'm sorry, go to a toll. Go ride the ferry if you want a fair. Here in the real world, you have to be cognizant of who you are. I'm sorry, and unfortunately, it is what it is. Corsia Campbell, a Marine veteran who is black, also believes race played a role in her arrest. On May 30th, during a demonstration in Jacksonville, Florida, Campbell was sitting on the ground beside a white friend who was also protesting. The video shows police officers shoving Campbell's friend aside while pulling Campbell into their midst and handcuffing her. In that entire line of people, I was the only one who was arrested because you stand out like a sore thumb, she says. In her holding cell, one woman out of 8 was white, Campbell said. It was really hard not to think it was racial profiling. But that's the thing. You were locked up there. So with you being there, when they did start the rioting and the looting and everything else like that, it was just like, far easier for them to just deal with the people deal with the people that they had in hand, right? I'm just saying. Like, look, once again, life's not fair. Deal with it. It's about you taking your attributes and being of the best and being of the most service as possible. And it'll always be that way, because at the end of the day, as an individual, you are responsible for your actions and what you do. And if you know that this is the case, why go out there in the first place? Right? Hey, if those white folks want to knock yourselves out. But no. You're just a meat shield. Orlando criminal defense lawyer James Smith says the racial disparity in protest arrests is not surprising. Black Americans in general are more likely than white Americans to be arrested, convicted, and given lengthy prison sentences, according to the 2008 report by the Sentencing Project, a nonprofit charity focused on reforming the U.S. criminal justice system, focused on maintaining the U.S. criminal justice system so they can stay in business. There are many reasons for the disparity, the report found, including including racial biases at every level of the justice system, including among police officers, prosecutors, judges, jurors, and parole boards. Black and Hispanic defendants are more likely than white defendants to be denied bail, according to the report, and they're more likely to accept plea deals, even if they protest their innocence, because they're less likely to be able to afford costly legal battles. The recent round of arrests highlights the racial double standards we're here in the nation. No, it's just reality. They stop. See, that's the thing. Once again, ultimately, it's looking over into the next person's grass. I'm like, oh well, I want that. Why can't I have that? I'm sorry, but that's like here in this country. It really is about what you decide to do. Double standards. Everybody crying about double standards. The disparities go beyond arrest. When it comes to employment, an arrest and conviction can decrease the likelihood of getting a callback for jobs, especially if an applicant is a person of color, says Beth Avery, a senior staff attorney with the National Employment Law Project. That means Black and Hispanic protesters will be most affected in the long term if they're arrested at demonstrations. So don't go. These protests go particularly because it's all these protests are based around bullshit. These protests going on all around the country are all about racial and inequities. Not really. This is about the DNC realizing it has absolutely no chance in hell. I mean, the Bernie supporters already told us that they were going to burn Milwaukee to the ground. Man, they weren't kidding. And bias in our criminal legal system. And it doesn't stop with the police, Avery says. It permeates throughout all these other aspects of life. If a younger protester who was recently arrested applies for a job now or for student loans, their pending criminal case will likely pop up. Yep, that tends to happen. Criminal history questions also appear in the majority of undergraduate college applications. National surveys have shown that 60% to 80% of private institutions and 53% of public institutions require prospective students to answer questions about their criminal past during the admission process, according to a Brookings Institution report. One thing I don't think the average American realizes is just how devastating even an initial contact with the criminal justice system can be. That's why you avoid it, damn it! That's why, oh my goodness, this is why we need fathers to teach their children, hey, yeah, better me catch you now than they catch you then. And so what do you do subconsciously? At least what I did was make sure that I'm all the way over here. I guess. Jesus, the perfect storm is for the college-age student who is trying to get their lives started. Even for someone like Campbell, who is 31 and has a job, the results of her arrest have been devastating. Prosecutors dropped Campbell's unlawful assembly charge, but while she was in jail, Campbell missed a surgery scheduled to remove her gallbladder, which, wow, you sitting there scheduled for surgery, but you trying to go out there and wow out and protest because, oh my goodness, America is so mean. Man, you better take advantage of your surgery time. It's really a stressful situation, says Campbell, who suffers from irritable bowel syndrome. And okay, we can just move on past that. Hold on, let's just skip on down to my favorite part. Okay, hold on. Okay, so there's a problem in the nation, movement to prevent, made progress, we're coming around, and this afternoon, Sandidge took his homemade sign, and, okay, so, blase, woo. Hold on. After a little over 24 hours in jail, Sandidge was released a few hours before he was due to attend an orientation for a job at a security company. Honestly, guys, yeah. You this is the bullshit that I'm talking about. I'm sorry that I kind of ran through a lot of the article, but I wanted to get right back to this point that he had orientation for a job at a security company. Go do your job, because he was concerned about being exposed in jail to COVID-19 because his wallet, which has his driver's license, had been confiscated and not yet returned. Sandidge missed the orientation. But that's the thing. It is kind of crazy how the world kind of flipped on everybody, and it's not like you can just go and get another ID right quick. But I mean, multiple forms would be helpful. And I don't think COVID should really deny you when I would have it. I mean, if you are besides, if you already had a orientation, then you didn't have your paperwork already filled out and done. That's interesting. The company offered him the option of completing his orientation online. Oh, wow. But Sandidge says he was too preoccupied and felt his life was too much in shambles to continue pursuing the job. So, after all that, guys, still had, your life's so altered, but you had an opportunity to secure employment. You still had, they made an offer to you to still secure employment. This is why this circular logic, this nonsense is exactly why I say, look, the feminine and the alphabeticals, just as far as the adult table goes, because I mean, I don't never want to, deny anybody their right to speak. We can say whatever you want, but if it's dumb, it should be definitely called out. If it's nonsense and it's bullshit, it should definitely be called out. And that's why I did this video, because Time Magazine, like, for all the prestige it once had, is trash, bruh. It's trash. This individual still had the opportunity to, gain employment, but now they're like, oh, I'm just so hurt. And Tom's sitting here like co-signing this shit. Bruh. Hard pass. Hard pass on all of it. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the end. Like this irritates the hell out of me, because this is a non-story that Tom really sat here and made, and myself included, but I'm just pointing out how ridiculous Tom is, really sat here and made a thing. Trying to make a thing. This is like pass, man. Hard pass. So with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. And when you get videos like this every single day, share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from the Teespring and speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is really, really ridiculous. Protesters had no idea how one arrest could alter their lives. Oh. Like, and the only thing that altered Mr. Sandidge's life was Mr. Sandidge. You made every choice that you decided to make, including turning down a job offer. Hard pass. But you may disagree. You might be all empathetic, like, oh my goodness, oh how? Well, that's what my comment section's for. Until the next one.